As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to
Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
So we're back for our Thursday edition of our Flesh and Potatoes, which means that we're going to be talking about two movies that we mentioned to you, and that is going to be I Drink Your Blood and
I Eat Your Skin.
Ooh. We're going to pit these two against each other, and we're probably going to go in the chronological order
The Pit of Misery.
that these two movies came out. Technically, one of them came out before the other, but it didn't get released technically till 6 years later. So, but
Should have been never.
But yeah, so we'll go in that order. But I do want to say a few things real quick. First of all, I want to thank people who have been donating behind the scenes to the podcast, actually, to help pay for some of the costs that it costs to run this thing. I just want to say thank you guys. Like, it's not necessary, but it does help. And we really do appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I just want to say thank you for it. You don't have to donate, and if you want to help us out in any way you can, share our episodes. Just tell one friend who you might think might enjoy the podcast. That always goes a long way. If you want to go on like iTunes and give us like a fucking rating or review, like that goes a really long way too. So, but I just want to thank you guys for, especially for all the ones that have already have. Just coming here and listening really means a lot to us. But anything you can do to help us reach more people means a lot too. So, but yeah. Just want to say thanks. Yeah. I think it's time we just jump into the flesh and potatoes right now of
I Drink Your Blood
and
I Eat Your Skin.
right now.
So, guys, as I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and jump into our flesh and potatoes. We're going to kick it off with the movie that opened up for the double feature in 1971, December 15th, I believe it was, that came out. Merry Christmas, I guess. Happy Holidays. That's kind of a weird time.
It was a weird time.
For one of the most violent movies ever made, by the way. Got a lot of history on this, but
Maybe in 1970.
yeah, it was. It was really brutal. But the movie I'm talking about is I Drink Your Blood. This was put on a double feature bill with a movie called I Eat Your Skin, and we'll be talking about that next. But the first movie that showed when these opened on this double bill was I Drink Your Blood, and it came out 1970, December. The story, a group of satanic hippies comes to a small town to perform a ritual, then end up raping and beating a local town girl, beating up her grandfather and dosing him with LSD. The grandson and brother of the girl want to get back and injects their food with rabid dog blood, which causes an insane showdown of oddness, death, and hilarity, as well as milky man lips. No, I'm being silly, guys, but this movie's pretty great. Director and writer David Durston put this together. He did the Love Statue, Stigma, the Blue Sextet, which a lot of these actors actually did roles in. He also wrote a few episodes of Tales of Tomorrow in the 50s, which was what pretty much started his career. It's kind of like a nicer Twilight Zone in a way. I never watched him, but I do remember. I think it was like sci-fi, kind of like the future.
Right.
But the cast that is in this movie is Bhaskar Roy Chowdhury, who plays Horace Bones, the lead cult member.
I didn't know his last name was Bones.
No, oh yeah, his name's Horace Bones,
Jesus
in the
Christ.
movie. He was in the movie The Adversary, The Blue Sextet. He was also a professional dancer until a tragic accident that happened in 1977 while performing a very difficult maneuver which paralyzed him from the waist down.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he ended up actually passing away on August 4th, 2003. Mm-hmm. So it also stars George Patterson, who plays Rollo. He was in the movie God Told Me To, which I really want to see. I've never seen. It's about a bunch of people who go on a killing spree because God told them to.
Right.
Interesting.
Figured.
It also stars Jaden Wong, who plays Su Lin. She was in a movie called Around the World, which is a very popular family movie about traveling around the world. Year of the Dragon, Skin Art, and many others. It also stars Lynn Lowry,
Whoop, whoop.
who this was her first acting role. It started her entire career. She's called Carrie, the Mute, and she was in a lot of really cool movies, a lot of underground independent films, like Shivers by David Cronenberg, The Crazies, the original one, plus the remake. And she was in Cat People, Basement Jack, Theater Bazaar, and a ton of unreleased films that either didn't happen or haven't yet, because there was literally like 30 movies
Yeah.
that had question marks next to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, either she's got a lot of movies she's going to be in or what?
Nothing came to fruition from
Right.
her.
I'm like, is she just trying to hit the 100 mark?
Probably.
You know, like I did 100 roles. I don't know, but she's like the weird kind of looking blonde attractive girl
Which you don't pick up on the fact that she's supposed to be a deaf mute
until
at all.
Yeah, it really doesn't make
At
sense.
all. I was like, this bitch isn't saying shit.
Right.
Why isn't she repeating what she's supposed to?
She wasn't even supposed to be in the film.
I know. I just thought she was defiant.
Yeah, Durston was so charmed by her when he met her, he wrote her in, which pretty much started her sort of screen queen career.
Right.
So,
He was just so intrigued by her appearance.
right. So,
Good for her.
what did you think about all the Milky Lips in the movie? I'm kidding. What did you think of the movie?
So, while this film has a lot of energy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they don't slack on that at all.
Okay.
To me, I felt that it's one of those movies where its reputation kind of supersedes what you get out of it.
Okay.
So basically what I mean by that is that ultimately the reputation is bigger and better and badder than the actual movie is itself. But I feel like that's kind of hard to necessarily stand by at this point, because this was, if I would have watched it in the 70s, I would have been like, this is fucking awesome.
Right.
But now watching it in 2018, I'm just like, womp, womp, womp. This is stupid.
It's understandable.
Like, from start to finish. Like, overall, though, I mean, I got what I expected from it, which was a complete and total sleaze fest. So, I mean, I was entertained, but also just extremely frustratingly annoyed because, and I will tell you why,
Okay.
whomever is responsible for the fucking sound score of this movie needs to be locked in a fucking room and forced to listen to this score on repeat until they gouge their own fucking eyes out or something.
Well, if you think about it,
I can't.
the person who wrote it probably did. They had to practice
I hope
it.
so.
They didn't get to
He's-
produce
yeah,
stuff,
Rest
you know.
in peace. Yeah, you fucking deserve it, because that
I
was
thought-
terrible.
Okay. Well,
It took me out of the movie so many fucking times because I was repeatedly irritated by the sound effects.
really?
And then, yes, because
Wow, this is weird, man. I wasn't expecting all of
they
this.
were they completely overshadowed, like, they were so loud. They were so much louder than everything else going on in the movie, and they were completely unnecessary in 90% of the parts that they put them in.
Okay.
And it was just like the weirdest, strangest noises. It was like, oh, here's like some random shit in a blender that I'm going to play over this part where it makes no fucking sense at all.
Okay.
Here's a car alarm that I'm going to have going off for 20 minutes for no fucking reason again, in a part where we don't need it. And it's a cool story.
Okay.
Like, the story for this is actually, I mean, in its time, it's unique. It's different. It's something that wasn't really played with a lot in the fucking 70s. Like, this is all pretty new and fresh, you know? And it's not like where you hear, like, a rabies infection, instantly everybody goes 28 days later.
Okay.
That's where my mind goes. And I'm like, but this is 28 days later, but not as cool. Like, it's just kind of like schlocky and shitty and put together really weird. And you get everything you would think you'd get out of it, which is like your basic generic ass, like they have rabies.
Okay.
Infection kind of story, you know.
You're hurting my feelings right now.
I know, but I actually liked it. Like, but in comparison, Jesus, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
But I don't know. I loved the part how they got the infection. Like, I thought that was fucking. It made me mad, but it was cool.
Right.
It was different. It was very creative how they came across that. But yeah, like I said, I expected a sleaze fest. I got a fucking sleaze fest. So
yeah.
But I was expecting more because you played this movie up for me, and I was like, that sounds fucking sick. Like, it sounds really fucking cool.
Right.
And it takes like 30 fucking minutes to get to anything interesting. And then once they get there, it's just like, meh. You know, and then it has cool parts here and there, but overall it's just kind of low impacted, but it's still pretty fucking cool.
Okay.
So I didn't hate it by any means, but
I personally really like this movie. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's one of the movies to me that kind of stands out in the 70s because I don't like 70s movies. I watch more than I do like the 60s movies. But I watch them less than I do the 80s movies, you know, which I fucking adore.
Yeah, well, this is an era of exploitation films.
Right.
You know, and this is where a lot of different things were being explored and tried. So
yeah, it was the beginning. It was the dawn of the 80s.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever was going on. I didn't see, like, the total full version. I've seen the version that they have, which is totally cut down. This, I think the one that they have on Shudder.
Which one did you want? Yeah, the one they have on Shudder.
The one they have on Shudder is more, there's more to it than like the theatrical version that they chopped up like crazy.
No, that one's actually pretty intact except for the very end.
Okay.
The very end is what they changed, and we'll talk about that a little bit.
So, because I know that they had to chop a lot out.
But yeah, there's several different versions of this movie, and I'll explain to you why that is when we get to the trivia. But I really like this movie. I personally... I love the idea that it's not like something you go, oh wow, man, this is a piece of cinema that
it's not fucking profound.
No, but it's like it's so schlocky and fun and like weird, and it does so many different weird things. It keeps me interested the whole time. I mean, it's not like I don't know how to explain it, but it's to me, I really think it's a good 70s movie. I really like it. I don't know why. It's over the top, kind of stereotypical, you know, cult worshipping hippies who get rabies and infect others and act really weird and have milky cum lips and
milky cum lips.
I mean, what more did you want, Brittany? What more did you want?
I don't know. I just wanted it to be not so fucking stereotypical, I guess.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, this is the 70s.
That's why I wanted it to not be so stereotypical, yet it kind of was.
Well, I mean, they weren't as open-minded about everything.
You know what? I take that back because they weren't as stereotypical, because nowadays they would have been like, everybody's goth and wears black because they're Satanists.
Maybe.
Bleh.
I mean, there is some history to this that'll make you maybe think a little differently about it, but
yeah.
Seriously, though, aside from some of the like classic 70s animal death scenes and some of the dead animals that they had prancing around, it's actually pretty great, in my opinion. I mean, personally, I really liked the music. I thought it was different and unique, and I thought that there was like, I have heard the sounds, similar sounds that they were using in it. I'm not exactly sure what they were using, but I thought it was interesting and weird and creepy and like, I don't know, kind of just unnerving and stuff. Like,
yeah, that's the complete opposite.
I really it didn't bother me at all. I actually really kind of liked it. I was like, it's not like it was like organized music or anything.
No, it was just random sounds.
Yeah, well, that's what they used to do back then, though.
Right, no,
you know
I get it.
Unless you wanted like beach bingo music,
no,
you know? Like,
I just wanted it to make sense, and it didn't.
Well,
and it was so fucking loud in comparison to everything else, and it was just weird.
I think it's still pretty awesome. I still like the sounds that they used in it because it's like very analog, and like this is some of the earliest sounds of like before synths and stuff like that. And
yeah, take that out and separate it. It's cool sound effects and shit that they're trying to do. I just felt that a lot of it was misplaced and it was unnecessary.
Okay. I'm sure it wasn't as organized as what you're probably used to these days.
Not even.
But again, I just chalk that up to it's the 70s.
I'm just going, you're fucking annoying me and making me deaf this entire time, and I can't pay attention to the story because I want to turn the sound off.
I didn't think it was that bad, but some of the lines of the film are pretty ridiculous, and
most of them.
They're sort of memorable. The cult kind of, I like the fact that the cult infects everyone and the whole town sort of turns crazy. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those, I don't know. It's got nutty scene after one another, after another. The deaths and the weirdness of all their deaths. I mean, they're not like exactly done great, but again, I think, 70s, like no big deal. And they did this movie like, really cheap, and there's a lot of really interesting facts about it too. But I think it's just batshit crazy at times. Mm-hmm. And I think it's batshit crazy for the times today, this is why I like it, because it's like,
well, it helps.
You don't. Can you compare that to any of the death scenes and stuff? Like, it's just weird, and I don't know. I think it's probably the best.
Well, I don't think the death scenes are really, none of them stand out necessarily as far as like uncomparable to other things, because they're all pretty simplistic. Wow. I feel like that's a lot to do with budget, though.
I think they did a lot with a little. And
they did a lot with a little.
I think for its time, I think it's like way ahead of its time.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like, it was like really, really out there kind of shit.
I don't disagree.
It's definitely the best public service announcement film about rabies ever made.
Don't get
at
rabies.
The very least.
Don't eat weird meat pies from a child. Yeah. Don't solidify that for me.
Right. There is some really, like I said, man, there's some really cool history about this movie, though. And the story, it came from like a real story where a village in Iran was attacked by a pack of rabid wolves. And it was like they attacked a local schoolhouse, infecting the victims with rabies. And it made them mad and homicidal. Apparently, the director contacted a local doctor who was an authority on the disease and had visited the village that it happened at. And Durston, the director, was shown an 8mm footage of that whole situation that the doctor had taken during his work at the village, and the affected children were locked in cages.
Oh my God. Foaming
at the fucking mouth.
Oh, like you were yesterday. Or Monday.
On Monday, yeah. It made the hair on the back of his head, he said, elevate. And he said, I never seen anything so horrible, yet so real in my entire life. And that is what inspired him. Plus, at the time, this is around the Manson murders.
Oh, yeah, you could feel that.
Right, so...
big time.
There was, like, he married the two ideas together. Because he was disturbed by the Manson murders, because it was really... I mean, again, you got to put yourself in the fact that this is the 70s.
Everybody was.
I'm not saying that the 70s were naive or anything like that, but it is definitely a different time from it is today. We're talking 50 years almost, from here. So it's pretty fucking old, Apparently, the director had a friend who was in a cult, though.
Yeah.
And he based the ritual in the beginning of the movie off of that. In fact, they even wrote pig on her chest, on her stomach or whatever.
Which made me think of the Manson murders instantly.
It was immediately directly pointed at that because they put pig on the wall.
Everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But like you said and what you mentioned before, this is the first film to ever be rated X, and not because of the sex or anything like that or the nudity. It's based on pure violence alone. The MPAA basically said, what the fuck? Theaters that had this movie threatened to pull the film entirely. And the distribution company basically said, just fucking edit it however the hell you want as long as you play it. And it's still attempt to show it. So because of that, that is why you will see so many different versions of the film, because theaters cut it up and spliced it however they wanted to fit their theater. So for years, there was so many different versions out there. And the fullest print, I think, is by Vinegar Syndrome. I'm not 100%, but they have the full print of it. And I want to get that version because I just like this movie a lot. I don't know why. I think it surprised me when I first saw it like 20 years ago. The cover of the movie, which has like the zombie skull or whatever, is actually from the movie It from 1967, which had Roddy McDowall in it, who was in the Fright Night movies, amongst shitloads of other movies like Hell's House. What was it called? Something Hell House. I can't even remember. But also Durston originally titled the film Phobia. But the distributors felt that the film needed to be a double feature, which an executive came up with the promotion of a double feature of films called I Drink Your Blood and I Eat Your Skin. And this is how basically the name came to be for the movie. And even though nobody drank anybody's blood in the fucking movie.
Not at all.
Yeah. So
they just drank a bunch of LSD.
Now, there was a lot of animal deaths in this. Like, not live screen deaths except for one chicken.
Yeah, that one chicken
that shit was real.
Is the only animal that actually
died. All the other ones were previously dead before the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even painted rats
a
certain color because they were like lab rats or whatever the hell that had died.
And they were dead prior to the movie, which they had painted brown to match the appearance of the live trained rats. So it was a little camera tricks, which they did a really good job with because you didn't even notice necessarily.
Yeah.
But
I kind of did. They didn't look the same.
I know they didn't, but
and they really set them on the fire too. They just like cooked them up.
Yeah, they were dead. Fuck it, burn them.
Seems wrong.
Well, what else are you gonna do with them? They ate that chicken. Good on them.
Yeah.
That chicken that they actually killed in the movie.
Did they actually eat?
They fucking cooked it and ate it later.
I didn't hear about that.
So good on them for that.
I didn't hear about that. Yeah, those same trained rats though were later used in the movie Willard a year later with what's his name from Back to the Future.
Yeah. Or as most people know it now, which was later on with the remake, is with Crispin Glover. But
Crispin Glover, yeah.
But there was an original released in 1971.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Crispin Glover was in the. That's right. Yeah, I didn't even see the original then. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I haven't either. So
I've seen Ben, the Michael Jackson song movie. Yeah. Ben, the two of us will be together.
I think it's fair to say that mostly everybody has only seen the remake with Crispin Glover and Willard.
And I haven't. I've only seen it once.
I didn't know there was.
And I'm one of my like Nick always talks about it.
Yeah,
because he loves Crispin Glover.
Everyone loves Crispin Glover.
He's just weird and eccentric.
You don't love Crispin Glover. I feel sorry for you.
Do you remember when in the movie when they run with Pete and her sister and that cult member that abandons them?
The little kid.
Did you see him fall?
Two with the axe? Yeah.
Yeah, he fell. When he fell in the water, before I even knew about the research on this, I saw him fall and I was like, did he actually hurt himself there? Because I never recognized that in any of the other movies or any times I watched it. And I was like, I think he actually hurt. And true enough, he actually sprained his ankle at that moment. And you can tell.
Yeah, you can.
Because he's like laying and he's like crying and screaming. And the guy and everybody else is trying to act. And they like actually pick him up. And you see him like scream.
Yeah, so, it's interesting.
The whole Grandpa LSD scene that we won't mention until our favorite parts there was a part of it that was cut. It was you were supposed to see kids' parents as ghosts.
Yeah. The
kids' parents of the kids. Because it doesn't really make sense why these two young kids are living with their grandpa and they don't really explain that their parents passed away. So I guess...
We should have kept that in there because it would have made a little more sense, but whatever.
Right. It's just so weird.
To me, it's weird that they cut that out. It was the perfect moment to do that, but whatever.
Probably too long, you know.
Probably.
During when they were filming this movie, there was a lot of tensions between the town folk that lived there. This was a real town, and the film cast and crew, they got really heated for a little while between the town people and them because the town people were uncertain about why they were making the film, and there was like an incident where one of the locals witnessed Durston, the director, trying to motivate the actress Iris Brooks. And during a very, seriously motivational, emotional scene, and they contacted the sheriff, insisting that he was abusing the cast and crew and should be arrested or replaced with another director. So, yeah, isn't that crazy?
All right.
But they continued on anyway, and they were like, whatever, he was just... just because he's hitting her doesn't mean she's not trying to act. I wonder what he was saying to her to make her cry.
Probably like, you stupid, ugly, fucking fat cow.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know. It's got to be something along those lines.
It must be, yeah. But apparently on September 17th, 2009, there was actually announced that David Durston planned on a remake of the film that would have starred Sybil Danning in it. But Durston died in 2010 at the age of 88 before he could even begin production on it.
Sucks.
So, and one of the things
at the age of 88.
Yeah.
Sweet fucking Jesus.
I know. Well, I mean, he wrote shit for the 50s.
Yeah. I want want to make a remake of this movie in 88 fucking years.
Christina said right away, she was like, this is one of those movies that you could remake, right?
It should be.
And I was like, totally could. Like,
That'd
you
be
could
sick.
totally do this in a fucking way.
Yeah, it'd be fucking cool. This is one that they should touch again. And
Well,
redo.
and this came out before The Crazies. It came out before George Romero. George Romero's The Crazies. And it also came out before there was another movie that was similar to it around the same time. It came out before that, too. So this kind of it did things with movies that other movies hadn't done, and it opened the door a little wider for people to be more exploitative, I guess. So,
experimental.
right. Now, at this point, I have some serious spoiler stuff here. Now, on Shudder, you can watch it. Unfortunately, it does not have the specific ending that we were talking about earlier. I'm going to divulge that to you now, so if you've seen it already, cool, stick around. If you haven't and you don't want it spoiled, you might want to come back after you watch it, and then I can tell you about it. But I'm just giving you a fair warning. But the I Drink Your Blood originally ends with a final scene where Mildred Nash is revealed to be rabid and kills Roger Davis when he comes to visit her in bed. And this ending was cut from a lot of them. Some people thought at the time it was lost. When the film was originally released, a lot of people didn't get to see that ending. So she's the one that's
she got bit.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
Yeah, I saw that. And
Like,
I'm like,
when
so what's gonna happen
she's
with her?
spraying everybody, when she was spraying all the fucking like Milky Mouths with the fucking the hose.
The hose, right?
Yeah.
Because of hydrophobia. Or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. You see one of them come up behind her and then bite her on the arm, but they kind of like cut real quick.
They just fucking brushed it off.
Right.
Like it was no biggie, and I'm like, hello, she's infected.
Well, they just restored one, and that has that ending in it. And I, for some reason, remember that version. So, because I was like, wait, she's got rabies, right? I always remember
Kills the
it.
kid. Is that what you're saying?
I don't
Is
think
that the
that's what
actor?
happens, but the ending was cut
Who
from
is
a
it
lot
that
of
she
them.
kills?
Roger Davis, when he comes to visit her in bed. So her boyfriend,
Oh, her boy.
the construction
wait a minute,
guy.
who the fuck's Roger Davis?
Yeah, the construction guy that saves her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting. Also, there was another ending scene there that they cut as well, where Pete, the little boy, tried to turn himself into the police for doing what he did to the meat pies, and they all kind of laugh it off. And then he goes walking off in the sunset at the very end like they do. Because it's really abrupt on the Shudder version, which is really
Yeah, it was
weird.
weird.
I don't know. I'm confused by
I was
that.
like, I don't understand. What? The whole time, too, I'm watching this, I'm thinking, why did no one just go get a rabies vaccine?
Did
rabies
they?
vaccines have been in existence since like the 1500s.
Well, maybe he just didn't do the research that much, but I would think it's weird because he did visit that doctor who was
like
a
the
specialist.
70s, like I would assume that was pretty well known.
I don't know.
But that's all I thought the whole time. I'm like, just go get a fucking vaccination. It's like a series, I think, of vaccines. But I'm like, within the first several hours that you're exposed, you can go and get a vaccination, the first vaccination for it, and then you're good. Like, why you gotta kill people? I don't understand.
I'm looking it up to see when the rabies vaccine came up, and it is 1885.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the 1800s was when it was first, like, initially not discovered, but like.
And to give you guys kind of an idea what rabies does, dude, it really fucks you up. They kind of explain it in the movie, but it essentially just dehydrates the shit out of you in ways, and you literally become fearful of water. Like,
Which I thought they made that shit up.
No, that's real.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
It's like an irrational fear of water. You can't swallow, so you're like, it's like the worst cotton mouth ever. You can get foamy lips, I guess. I don't know if that...
You foam, yeah.
Yeah,
You
because
froth
your
it out.
spit is like dried up, and it's like some reaction in your mouth from it drying up and everything like that. But it's a horrible way to die. It's probably one of the worst ways to die other than starving to death. So,
Yeah,
well, I
it's
mean,
awful.
fire is pretty bad too, but I'm just saying.
And, yeah, I'd I don't want any of them, but
Yeah. It's interesting though. It's a I didn't know about that story in Iran. So
yeah, I didn't either. That's
like
interesting.
that's really
That's
freaky.
fucked up.
I want to know, I mean, I don't
Why did they make a movie about that?
Sounds fucked up, but I would kind of out of curiosity, just the historical fact, seeing a video of that fucking
I want to see the video.
8mm fucking thing.
I watch a documentary on that shit all day.
I know, it's fascinating.
That's insane. It's so cool.
Right.
I mean, it's sad, but it's.
I'm sure there's some out there. I just never considered
I love
looking
weird
it up.
Shit like that.
I remember, like, when I was a kid, like, really young, they used to have books about rabies and shit to scare kids into, like,
Don't pet that
or
raccoon.
convince them to get shots and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, but I remember there was always a story about the kid that, like, went to pet the dog and the dog bit him, and then the kid got rabies and was foaming from the mouth. I remember these little kids' books. I mean, I don't know why I remember this, but little kids' books. It's like scary as shit.
Yeah, like little clinic booklets.
Right, yeah. Well, it was like a kid's book. Like, hey, learn some things.
Learn some stuff. Don't pet stray dogs or raccoons or cats.
What about some of your favorite or I hate this movie scenes?
This movie.
Probably more I hate this movie
No,
scenes.
I like this movie.
Okay.
The I hate
I'm just
this movie
kidding.
was the only the sound score and shit. Just I wanted to kill myself. Or kill whoever did it the whole time.
I'm going to have to make one like that
Fuck.
one
It's
day.
awful. I just love when the kid fucking infects them. Like how he does it. I don't like what he does to do that. Skipping that part with the dog and killing the dog and whatever, but he goes and takes this, he steals a syringe from his grandpa's bag because his grandpa's a vet, and then he goes and finds the dog that he killed in the woods and takes the blood from the syringe.
Yeah, it's like some twisted
It's
shit.
fucking weird. I'm like, what fucking fucked up child thinks of this?
Well, and
Jesus.
probably no child, but I mean, maybe.
Well, he's so mad and he hates them because they dosed his grandpa.
Well, it's like him sitting down like we do and talking about
Yeah.
making up a plot. We're like, we got to figure out a way to
Yeah,
get it,
but
but
he
we got to
did
do
it.
something different than a dog.
Right, but then he went and did it. So I was like, all
Right.
right. So he fucking doses the meat pies with the blood of the rabid dog.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's some ingenious shit, you little fucking asshole. God
it's
damn.
pretty twisted.
I'm like, I get it though. Someone LSD doped my grandpa and tried to kill him. I'd probably drug them with rabies blood too.
That
So.
kid's kind of annoying though, a little bit.
He's super annoying.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a kid, but like, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
he's annoying.
there's something about him that just like I don't know why.
He's irksome.
It just irks me a little.
Right.
But I get it. He's just like, what are you doing? I don't know, but I don't know.
But then he gets this ingenious idea to go get rabies blood
After he shoots a dog.
after he shoots a fucking dog.
Dude,
and
the
then
kid's
feeds
like,
it to,
pretty
10
young.
hippies.
He's probably like 10 or 11.
Yeah, like 11.
And he uses a shotgun to kill a fucking rabid dog,
That's
like
insane.
a fucking ace.
Yeah, I'm like, damn,
Like, he's
bro.
like, bam, motherfucker.
But vet grandpa probably taught him that, so.
Yeah, he's like, is it dead? It's because I killed it. I didn't tell you because I killed it. So that's your favorite scene?
One of them, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that is one of the ones that I'm like, ooh, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, that's where that's where the story takes a turn.
Yeah, but
And then it
there's
begins to make sense.
there's a lot of really weird things that happen in this movie that I go,
Why?
what the fuck?
Yeah.
But that's what I love about it too. Like, to me, that's like, for someone that likes to watch movies and just find stuff that they've never seen before, I think this is a must see. And it's not one that I wouldn't not watch again. Like,
Oh, I'd watch it.
I don't know if I watch it every year, maybe. I like it. Like, I got in the mood for this and I was just all about it. So, but yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes is, well, first of all, to explain it, a little context. The scene where the grandpa gets beat up and is kind of unnerving, and then they dose him with acid. She was like, here, try some of this candy. She drops a hit of acid, like a microdot in his mouth, which is like looks like a nerd, and she just drops it in his fucking mouth. And then they were like trying to kill him, like Horace the Bones.
They were going to kill him.
Yeah, they were going to kill him, and the kids outside like, hey, where's my grandpa? You tell me where my grandpa is. And then it causes a stink, and they were going to kill the kid too, but then they were like, nah, it's going to cause too much trouble. Let's just let him go. So
After that weird old lady tries to fuck the child, which was super uncomfortable.
oh, I don't know about that. I think she was just trying to.
She's trying
He was
to
a young
diffuse the
boy.
situation,
She was trying. Yeah, he was a
by
young
showing-
boy. He might like a pretty girl because he's at that age.
Yeah, she's trying to diffuse the situation by
Right.
showing him her tits.
Right,
I'm like,
pretty
lady,
much.
You're like 45.
So the grandpa goes home and he's like, and the kid's like, what's wrong with Grandpa? And he's like, he's drunk. She's like, he's not drunk, stupid. He's doped. He's like, huh? Yeah, with that stuff they call LSD. A whole bunch take it.
The whole bunch of them take it.
Yeah. And he's like, what does it do, that L, whatever you call it? Boy, you really don't know anything. Well, makes a person crazy. I love that. One of the reasons why is because right before I saw that movie, I was into a band called Candiria, which is like a metal band that infuses jazz into their stuff, and they also even do rap in some of it. It's kind of like a mix between like Sepultura, jazz, and like something else, but they use that sample in the very beginning.
Oh, neat.
And I always wondered what it was, because we didn't, I couldn't search for shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have IMDb back then. But I don't know. I just love that. I love that whole dialogue right there. And then he's like holding up the fucking horns, and like the salt and pepper shaker's horns on his head.
Yeah, it was cute.
And it was like, oh, so that's what happened to Grandpa.
I just like when she's like, yeah, you really don't know anything. I'm like, he's like 10.
I know.
How the fuck is he gonna know what LSD is, you stupid bitch?
Yeah, no shit. Even today, like, kids don't know what the fuck.
I don't fucking know what LSD is. God damn, I didn't know what that was until I was a teenager.
Boy, you really don't know anything, do you?
Yeah, I'm like, fuck you.
Well, you're the one out fucking watching people kill people in the fucking fields.
You followed some weird dude that you didn't fucking know out into the fields and then watched them fucking do it.
After he tried to steal your chicken.
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with you?
I know. Anything else that you can point out that you liked?
Like scenes that I like? I liked the first initial crazy kill scene was pretty cool after like they got rabies or had the symptoms, which was, I don't remember his character's name. But the axe wielding one that ran around the whole time with that fucking axe.
Oh yeah, I think his name's Rollo.
Rollo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he goes and he stabs the dude like repeatedly.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking brutal.
And then he takes his axe and then chops his leg off.
Well, that Su Lin chick is like,
and I'm like, what the fuck?
She like presents the knife to him, like, here.
Yeah, it was weird. Well, I
Let's
think
see what you do.
Is so like a token is don't kill me kind of thing. Like, she
right.
kinda knew like, shit was gonna go down, but she didn't want it to be her. She was trying to control the situation, I think, and like that's how I read it.
Okay.
But I mean, that guy's tied up on a table. He's obviously not gonna move. So.
You know what part bothered me a little bit in the movie is like, so Grandpa goes home, right? The whole story starts because the granddaughter meets one of the cult members who drive into town in a van, who are a bunch of rebel rousers, like causing trouble, like pushing people down buildings or hills and stuff. And then, so she's one of the guys tries to steal one of their chickens, and so she catches him and talks to him, and then he takes her out on a date, quote unquote. And they go, like, his idea of taking a girl on a date is taking him out to this blood ritual that they're performing. Ritual. Yeah, out in the middle of the fucking forest. And she's just, like, watching from the trees, like, while they don't know that she was there. And then they find out that she's there and chase her through the woods, rape her, and then she's got cuts and shit all over her legs. They dose the shit out of her with LSD, with acid, and then she comes home and doesn't speak for fucking 2 days, right? So then Grandpa goes over to the hotel where they're staying, this old abandoned fucking hotel, and that they're smashing the fuck up, and tries to threaten Horace, the main cult leader. And Horace just kind of makes a mockery of him and smashes his glasses, and the kid's like, give me back my grandpa, and he's got LSD, and they dose him, and he comes out and he's all fucked up and doesn't know how to deal with life, and he's scared and shit, and fucking comes home, and then the next morning everything's fine. And I guess that same night the kid went out and killed a fucking rabid dog and fucking took the blood and put it in the meat pies and shit like that. The thing that bothers me is that after, like, he comes to, she's like, are you feeling okay? And he's like, yeah, I feel all right, but those guys are something crazy, And then the kid's like, yeah, I killed a rabid dog. And he's like, well, we got to report that to the police. I'm like, so wait, your granddaughter just got fucking dosed with acid and raped, and then you got dosed and beaten up and your glasses crushed at the hotel, and you're worried about a rabid fucking dog?
Right, but we're going to report the rabies dog.
Right, like, what the
Not anything else. Not any other thing that's completely reportable and makes sense, but we're gonna report the fucking rabid dog. I'm just like, plot hole, stupid.
It totally was, and like,
so annoying.
So then they call the fucking the place where the meat pies are. The lady who apparently reports it to the police, I guess, or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on at this point.
No,
but it doesn't matter because it doesn't. It's not like there can be plot holes in this movie because it's just weird fun.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
it's not supposed to make a lot of sense. I don't think. There's this one scene in particular with what's her name? His character, Lynn Lowry.
Oh, yeah.
Takes the electric carving knife.
Okay,
and like chops this lady's arm off, her hand off, and then
she's trying to make her a fucking ham sandwich, and she cuts her fucking hand off,
or whatever the fuck she's doing, and she cuts her fucking hand off. I don't know who this lady is, by the way.
Right?
She was super random.
Well, they came across her because they were running away from fucking Rollo.
That's right.
Who was fucking foaming at the mouth and killing her fucking friends. Yeah.
So, the lady comes out onto the porch with her like hand stub. Right, and it's all bleeding or whatever.
And she falls.
She kind of slams into the wall, like,
oh!
And then she just disappears because the camera fucking cuts weird, and she just straight up fucking vanishes.
Really?
And I'm all, what the hell?
I'm
like, look at mouse. Well, where the fuck did she go? And then all of a sudden, Lynn Lowry's character comes out the door, and you see the lady's legs like on the ground.
Right.
And I'm like, this is my favorite scene because it was just so fucking ridiculous, and like the continuity of it was so bad, like the camera editing or whatever they did in that moment.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was so strange and looked so silly. But
yeah, that's one of mine.
Oh my god, I died.
I mean, there are quite a few other fucking scenes. I mean, there's that one. There's Sulin, the Asian lady who sets herself on fire.
That was cool.
I was like, what the fuck? It's really quick and it doesn't really make sense.
It was not satisfying.
But it was like,
I wanted it to
just
be.
watching her light herself on fire. It was just so casual.
It was super casual.
There's also like...
That's why I liked it, though, is because it was just like so nonchalant.
At the end, towards the end, when they're like in town trying to escape into the meat pie store.
Meat pie store.
Yeah, the meat pie store, like fucking the nicer
workers.
cult member guy gets his head cut off.
The one that didn't eat the meat pie.
Yeah, the one of the ones. There was several that didn't eat the meat pies. The pregnant chick didn't eat the meat pie.
She did?
Nope.
Oh, but she killed herself.
Yeah, because she thought she ate the meat pie. Because he said, remember when they were first eating the meat pies, she's like, I'm not hungry.
Oh,
and he said, fine, I'll eat for me.
Oh, I thought, well, because he called her like a fatty or something at some point.
Right.
And then I thought he took her pie away from her.
He was like, more for me, ha ha ha. And she didn't eat it, but she thought she had rabies.
Oh, I could have sworn she did.
Because he thought she did, but she never ate the pie.
Oh, weird.
And he didn't tell her that it was...
Well, that makes that part even cooler. Yeah, I thought she did.
No, yeah, that's the thing, because she didn't know anything about the meat pies.
Mm.
He said, you've got rabies. And she's like, what? And then she she stabs herself in the belly, her pregnant belly. Which is so weird, yeah. Seppuku.
I was like, so you killed your kid. Cool.
And her.
Yeah, I know. Well, ultimately her, but...
Yeah, apparently.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, this cut was a little disappointing. I was a little disappointed that this is on there.
I don't know. But now that I know that she wasn't even infected, I'm like, oh, man.
Right.
That's shitty. It would have been cooler if the rabies-infected baby burst out of her stomach or some shit. That would have been cool.
All foaming at the mouth.
I mean, they went so fucking weird and
sucking on people's heads
strange as fuck
and shit.
with that movie anyway, so why not give him a rabies baby that's all...
like fucking Dead Alive or whatever.
Hilarious. I'm sorry.
You know, there is one scene that I want to mention. The last one that I was thinking of is that where all the infected milky cum lips are like running around the car, and then the guy stands on the hood. They're like rocking the shit out of the car, and they tip it over. And then the guy's like holding the fucking nicer cult guy's head, and he's like, ah! Like that whole scene was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. It's not like nothing in this movie is like perfectly executed. It's just done in such a weird way that it's kind of hard like not to turn away.
Yeah, once shit
or
gets going,
to turn away. I mean,
once shit gets going in the movie, it gets interesting. So then you don't want to stop watching. You want to watch it to the end and see what happens, even though the whole time you're going, just go get a vaccine.
We made it like you made it 100 years before almost.
No one needs to die. Just
right. Well, this was a small town.
Go to the fucking doctor.
That whole
doctor.
By the way, that whole town was getting demolished.
Yeah, like 40. Oh yeah, where they filmed it.
Yeah, it was getting demolished, and there was a joke going around that they actually demolished the building before the demolishers, the hotel. Like the people that, yeah, I know. So, but they literally paid $500. I think it was like $300
to break
for the whole town.
Oh, that's neat.
Just to break it they had it for like a couple weeks.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, pretty
That's
cool.
A lot of fucking money for the 70s though. God damn.
Yeah, but for a movie, that's pretty damn good.
Well, but for the 70s, I'm like, that's a couple grand.
Well, it's like this, like that Chuck Norris movie that I really want to see. That's on, I think it's either on Shudder or on Amazon Prime. I think it's Amazon Prime. They bought an entire town. This is like one of those old fucking fucked up fucking. I can't remember what the name of the Cannon films. They made this movie called Invasion USA, and they bought an entire town that was going to get demolished.
Blew it up.
And blew all the houses up, like, in fucking insane ways. Like, dangerous ways.
That's how you do it, though.
Right? Like, I was like, holy fuck, I gotta see this shit. So I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it.
No, I want to see it now.
You know what's weird? I've been really into fucking, like, action films. Like, old action films that I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's because I can watch those without feeling guilty with the horror.
Probably.
Because if I watch a horror movie and I can't talk about it, I feel like it's a waste.
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I'm kind of cursed. It's like I don't want to waste. Like I'm like such a prude about watching the movie before we do it.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Action movies aren't my jam, so.
If you saw some of the older ones that are weird and fucking ridiculous,
maybe
you would be like all about it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, what are your final thoughts on this movie?
I've kind of already said all I want to say about it, so.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean.
Well, I mean, I personally, I think it's a pretty great 70s film. It has a bit of history to it.
For its time, it's pretty cool.
I don't think it's a bad movie, and it's always nice to watch gore and weird shit happen on the screen, so it has to be seen for people to at least seen it once, at the very least. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend it, especially at least for the fact that it's the first movie that was ever rated X, just on gore alone. So there is a history to it there, but on top of it, I think it's a much more enjoyable film than Brittany gives it credit. So,
I feel like everybody should watch it at least once, though.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm glad I did.
I definitely think I like it. I mean, just remember, kids, don't do rabies or
rabies.
Satan, okay, kids?
Stay in school.
Read books.
Read books. Don't do Satan. Well, you can do Satan, but
don't do rabies or Satan.
Do Satan responsibly, but don't do.
Well,
rabies.
I say don't do rabies because it's almost like because he used a needle.
Yeah, if you get bit by a rabid dog, or
shoot up rabies,
or ingest a weird meat pie, or decide to shoot up some rabies, go to your clinic and get a goddamn vaccine.
Yeah, take an Alka-Seltzer. You'll be fine in the morning.
Take an Alka-Seltzer, and then someone's gonna shoot you because they think you're rabid.
Well, I think it's time for us to move on to the second of the double feature.
All right, guys. Now we're going to talk about our second movie, which was the makeout feature in our double feature, for sure. This one's called I Eat Your Skin, a.k.a. Zombies, a.k.a. Zombie, a.k.a. Voodoo Bloodbath.
Yeah, or Zombie Bloodbath.
Zombie Bloodbath.
Fuck, they called it
or
a million
about
things.
18 million other titles.
Yeah.
All of which don't fit this fucking film at all. No one ate skin. There was no bloodbath. I wanted to riot. This movie was originally filmed in 1964, but was put on a shelf until it became a double feature with I Drink Your Blood in 1971.
Yeah, same guy bought it that
Yes.
put out the other one.
It was directed and written by Del Taney, who has done other schlocky movies such as The Horror of Party Beach, Violent Midnight, and The Curse of the Living Corpse. Sound great.
Classics.
Just to give you a little bit of an idea about this movie, it was writer Tom Harris and friends arrive on a beautiful island in search of material on voodoo legends for Tom's latest novel. Among the voodoo practicing population is a cancer researcher who believes that venom from snakes specific to the island will help him find the cure for cancer.
Oh, it's always that way, isn't
Always.
it?
Forever. Yeah, no one finds
It's
a
a
cure.
goddamn mad scientist.
However, it doesn't take long for the gang to encounter a bloodthirsty, bug-eyed zombie who happens to be the first piece in a very strange puzzle.
It's pretty much the entire plot right there.
Yeah, I wrote that. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Go me. to try and not give too much away, but to make it make sense in a way, because
I don't know about a puzzle. It's not very puzzling.
it's not.
It is puzzling because it's
you're like, what the fuck did I just watch?
ridiculous. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. I'll tell you all about it.
It stars William Joyce, who plays Tom, who was in movies such movies as Lifeguard and The Young Nurses.
Oh, I love Lifeguard.
None of these people have been in a lot of things.
Yeah, well,
I mean, William Joyce and Heather Hewitt, yes and no. William Joyce is in a lot of TV movies and TV series episodes. Not very many feature films.
okay.
Mostly all TV. Heather Hewitt, who played Jeannie, who was in Dave, That Thing You Do, and Mission Mars. So she's done some more stuff more recent.
Oh, yeah.
Than the 60s. Also starred Dan Stapleton, who played Duncan, which this was the only movie he ever did. That's it.
Well, I wouldn't think this would be the one that spearheads it.
That's literally
career,
the only
yeah.
thing that's on his title, actually, because that's it. This is it. So that's fun. He's not the only person in this movie.
Which one's he again?
Duncan, his friend, Duncan Fairchild.
Oh, the older guy.
The person he comes to the island.
Yeah, the publisher.
With his annoying ass wife.
Yeah,
his agent.
Yeah, agent, publisher, whatever it is.
It also stars Betty Hyatt Linton, who plays the most annoying woman in the world, aka Coral.
Right.
Who was the agent's wife with the two adorably stupid-looking poodles that she brings with her to a fucking island. And I thought they were gonna get fucking eaten, and they didn't. And I was like, oh look, there's two cute animals that are gonna fucking die.
Right.
And they don't the entire movie. So I was like, okay, well that was a wasted opportunity.
That's funny.
Anyway, I never want animals to die, but I was like,
right.
They set this up.
Well,
and then
I
at
know
the end,
you
I
hate
was
animals.
like, what the hell? Anyway, so she was most commonly known for her parts in the Jackie Gleason show, or appearance, I guess.
Okay.
On that, and an episode of Cops.
Really?
Or what? It's Cops. It says Cops. Cops.
She didn't star. Oh, she starred in it. Oh, okay.
I don't know.
They arrested her.
Maybe it just said Cops, and I was like, I don't know what that affiliation is, but all right.
That's so funny.
And
reminds me of like Run, Ronnie, Run or whatever. Yeah, Ronnie Dobbs.
Last but not least, Robert Stanton, who played Dr. Bilodeau. This was also the only movie he ever did.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this was a pretty fine piece of material.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Do you want to give me your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
no,
I'm anxious.
You jumped right into that.
Just
moment,
bubbling
so
to tell you all about how
frothing at the mouth.
Not as much as the last movie.
He's got the rabies.
First of all, I didn't know that Rance was in this.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Okay, that where you got that? Okay.
The Voodoo King.
The entire, literally the first second.
Dude, I was like, that looks like Rance and how he would dress up.
Yeah, the first fucking second that
you
we
need
saw
to show him that movie.
No, well, I sent him the pictures. I sent him a screenshot.
Really?
Yeah, I sent him the screenshot of the character, and I was like, so you forgot to tell me that you starred in this fucking movie in 1964,
well,
you son of a bitch.
You old motherfucker.
Yeah, you old fuck. And he was like, oh yeah, I must have forgot about that or whatever. Oh, I said you neglected to mention or some shit. I don't know. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, the first time we saw that guy, Rouse and I looked at each other and went,
that's what I thought immediately.
fucking rats.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Anyway, sorry guys, that's our friend or the cult leader from my cult that I'm in.
Yeah, it's part of her performance troupe, I guess you would call it.
He's our fearless leader.
Fearless leader. But man, this movie is something else.
Oh God.
You could tell that at the time they kind of like wanted to make it a hip, kind of cool, fun flick, like Beach Party Bingo with the zombies. You know, like they were like, check it out. So I want to make a 50s movie in the 60s about Beach Party Bingo with a Playboy writer who fights zombies. And they're like, wait, what are zombies? I don't know, man.
I don't fucking know.
I just heard about it. Some voodoo shit, bro. That's some voodoo shit there, you see? It's like something like that. But it wasn't working out. That's all I got.
None of this worked.
Yeah, it wasn't working out. I haven't met too many people that really like it. It is so bad it's good kind of thing, but it's not good. So it's so bad it's bad. I don't know. There is some charm tucked into this movie very slightly. It almost starts off kind of good, even though it's like, the typical Playboy writer thing, being a male chauvinist sort of thing. It was like very, I don't know.
Do you think that starts it out good?
Well, no, it's not because of that. I just think it has better acting, I guess, at that point. Like, it's not...
I can see what you're saying.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, at least it has camaraderie to
Right.
it. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they play off each
flowing.
other.
Yeah, like, things are flowing. And, like, he carries it enough that it's actually working. But then it just, like, fucking nosedives like a plane into a fucking building.
That's
and
on
then the
fire.
building falls on top of a fucking hospital. The hospital has a nuclear bomb that just blows up, and then fucking everyone's dead.
And everything's already on fire. Just FYI.
Yeah, dude. And then, like, other people in other countries are on fire, and they turn into zombies and shit on people.
Everyone's dead. Literally everyone.
I don't think it's that bad,
No,
but
it's that bad.
it's pretty
Alex.
bad. It has, like I said, it does have some charm in some spots, but it lollygags around so long, in my opinion, that it really makes it a shit watch.
Yes.
I had to watch it because it's I've known about this movie forever, and I don't know why I didn't watch it. I don't know.
Now
I think
you
the
know.
3.2 on IMDb, which is actually pretty low for IMDb,
It's not accurate.
that might be high,
Should
actually.
be like a 1.
Right.
2.
I mean, it's cohesive. It's a movie. It's just not an enjoyable one for me.
Yeah, I mean it has a story.
It's a 60s film, and I haven't seen that many 60s film to be some sort of aficionado on like what's good or bad in that era.
Important point. It's black and white.
Right,
Which
yeah.
I forgot to mention.
Yeah, it is all in black and white, but it feels like a 50s movie.
It does.
Like the
We
whole
thought it was
time I'm
50s.
watching it, I'm conflicted with the era in which this takes place. I'm like, wow, it's so drastic from 60s to 70s. Like, is that really how it was? And I feel like maybe the idea came up in the middle of the 50s, and then he was like, I'm going to make this movie one day, and this was the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Mouse literally said, "Was this made in the 50s?"
that's what I don't understand.
And I was like,
Because they got that
no.
cool, like, daddy-o music, you know?
Yeah, I was like,
Cool daddy-o, like fucking jazzy, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
it
it.
felt old.
Beatnik music or something.
Beatnik
But it had like party beach
Three
blanket
Sisters.
bingo style music in it.
Yeah, it was weird. Felt old.
I don't know. It made me really conflicted. I kept having a hard time thinking it was the wrong decade. Felt like it was a 50s movie. It's essentially a mad scientist movie, kind of similar to Dr. Butcher, MD, which isn't an amazing movie. It's kind of like the shit stepsister of fucking Zombie, Dr. Butcher, MD. So this is like the I just had a baby with my brother
Gross.
kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, my ancestral love child.
I don't know. And I feel bad, like, it's a movie.
To their credit,
Yeah.
and this is where the only time I'm going to be nice about this movie.
Okay.
Their zombie characters, while doofy as fuck looking,
Yeah, really weird.
were kind of creepy.
You think?
And this was before George Romero,
Right.
and when this was basically like an era before the zombie era. So this was them they don't really understand or know what exactly a zombie is at
Right.
this point, or what it's supposed to be,
Well,
or the many faces that a zombie can be.
it's not what
so-
it was supposed to be, but what it was going to be.
Right. They don't know. They're basically trying to make up their own
What George made it be.
idea. Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, George took it and made it incredible.
Right.
But what they did was them trying. It was like on the cusp of something great.
Right.
But it just didn't take it all the way there.
Well, you could say he did something incredible, or some people might think he just punished us for the next 100 years.
Because it will never die.
Yeah, because it's not, like a zombie, it'll never die.
No, he did something incredible.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's going to outlast the test of time. The zombies are always going to be something that people are going to do shit about.
Right. No, I
Forever.
know. That's what I'm saying. But like,
They're going to beat that fucking dead horse.
well, we're just
continually.
honestly, we're really getting zombie fatigue right now.
Everybody's
Like,
zombie fatigued.
yeah, it really is.
So
I mean, like, at least they're getting somewhat clever with some of the zombie movies, and I still don't mind them. But like when it's like it perplexes me. Like I can't hate zombie films. Like I can't hate them. I just can't. It's just one of those things. It's like, oh, well, I could have, eggs flambe, some special fucking breakfast treat, or I could have Kellogg's Flakes.
Right.
I love Kellogg's Flakes. It's good.
It's a
I can add
go-to.
whatever I want to, whatever flavor I want to kick into it and pep it up, you know, but it's it's cornflakes.
Still Kellogg's flakes.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but it's a safe go-to. You want to make a horror movie, people are like, well, I'm going to make a zombie movie because at least the same 1,800 people are going to watch this movie, right? Like, consistently. So, I get it. Safe bet. But they kind of were pioneers in a way to try and get this going, create a different genre and do something new. Mm-hmm. Failed fucking miserably at it.
I don't know because
but they tried.
I don't want to be too harsh on it because I'm not that's not my decade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the further it goes away from the 80s, like lower, the less I know about that decade. So I'm at some point, I'm just going to be like watching all of these movies that I never did. But there's people like Bava who did Mario Bava, who did stuff in like the 50s and 60s and stuff. That is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's not like great movies weren't being made at that time, especially great horror movies. Great horror movies were made prior to then. Mm-hmm. So it's just that they tried. So
I'll be
on them.
Honestly, I don't think you really need to watch this movie.
No.
It's so horrible.
That's all I'm saying. Like
it's not something I'm gonna watch again.
That's what I'm getting to. If I never had to fucking watch this movie again for the rest of my life, I would be perfectly fucking fine. Now,
but you have to, if you're a collector, you have to have this one and
together.
That. Yeah. Because it's just part of it. You just have to. It's like the shitty sequel that you never watch, but you gotta have it.
Why it's part of it? Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
But
well, it doesn't
why
make
this
sense.
was the one they picked of any shelved fucking movie.
Well, and both of the movies had different names.
Stupid.
And they had to change it just to fit this weird idea that this guy had.
Yeah.
Some random advertiser that they must have worshipped like a fucking god.
Right. It was.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea because the names probably helped get it more fucking like notoriety. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense that they were like, okay, you made this movie, but I am the gatekeeper.
Yeah, what's his name? Jerry Gross.
Yeah,
that was him, right?
Yeah,
that was his brilliant fucking idea to do this to everybody.
I mean, the poster's cool. Like you got
great.
the like skull on one side and then the fleshy fucking weird like zombie looking thing on the other.
The poster's super cool.
Right.
And like the stills that you see from this movie are cool.
Right.
But I mean, because like I said, the weird bug-eyed zombie things are interesting looking.
Right.
But no blood, like barely any blood is fucking shed in this entire movie. If any at all.
I don't remember. Oh, well.
One guy gets his head cut off. And it was the most comical shit I've ever seen in my life.
That shit was funny.
And then the guy that gets, and then the Rance gets stabbed. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Or the knife through the gut. So at the time of shooting this movie, Key Biscayne, which is the area that they filmed it.
Oh, in Florida, yeah.
Right, was considered largely jungle, and many of the cast and crew members actually came down with health problems during production.
I heard that, yeah.
And in addition to that, the scene where William Joyce rescues Heather Hewitt from the Bay Inlet area, which was super fucking stupid and weird by the sidebar note. But
yeah.
4 of the largest sharks in the area were seen in the bay that day that they filmed it. And director Del Taney says that he never told the actors that.
Wow, dude.
So he saw literally 4 of the largest breeds of sharks known in existence in that area were seen in the bay where they filmed that scene that fucking day alone. He did not tell his actors, and he never told them about that. He put them in literal fucking danger.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked.
And I'm like, for fucking what?
I know. For if it was a fucking mega like masterpiece, then everybody'd be like, yeah, I'm glad they did.
For a movie that got shelved until 1970 fucking 1?
Yeah, because even back then they couldn't handle something as
that fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Dear God. It was anyway. Yeah, one of the other facts I have.
I'm sorry, guys. Like, just understand. We've been trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair, at least. That I haven't seen enough 50s and 60s movies to really.
I've seen a handful, and I know that this was shitty.
Yeah,
so
I mean, maybe it was amazing, and it's one of those so bad it's good movies back in the day for people, who love the 50s and 60s movies.
If you love this movie, tell me why.
I'm not against why.
Please tell me why. I want to know. I want to know genuinely. I want to know why you love this movie and what makes you love this movie. And I want to get inside your brain and like camp out there for a minute and just to understand how you could sit through this for almost 2 hours.
But see,
and just be
it's
like,
the
this is
nostalgia thing, though. Like, we don't know because we didn't have the 40s, 50s, and 60s nostalgia.
Yeah, if you're 70 years old and you're telling me you like this movie, like, I get it. But if you're around our age range and you're like, this is one of the greatest fucking films ever made, I'm going to be like, what? Explain.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It would be, you could be 60 something.
Say in your 60s.
Yeah, you
whatever.
could be in your 60s and know this
Fair.
movie really well.
But still, that I understand. But in our age, and you come up in our age
Well,
range, your
I watched-
age range, my age range, and you come up like, this movie's fucking great.
Well, and I think about all these
How?
different horror movies that came out back in the day that aren't really scary to me now, like when I was growing up. And I think, oh my God, that scared people back in the day? Like, it
all
doesn't
the
make any
time.
goddamn sense.
Yeah, I don't get the Chucky franchise. You know this already.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Makes no
like,
sense to me.
for this
But yeah.
movie, it's like, you
I
know,
understand.
it's we don't know the nostalgia that we and that's a hell of a drug. And there is people out there, dude.
I know. The people that got it to the 3.2 rating,
Yeah,
those are the people.
exactly.
That's who we need to
the
talk
10
to.
people, the
People
most
that
vocal.
gave it a higher than a 3 in general.
Well, you
for
know,
their fucking rating
I
are
was
people we
thinking
need to
about
talk
this,
to.
and I just want to make this a quick point. Some of the people that may have seen both of those movies when it came out in the theater as a double feature might have just had a really good experience from that.
Yeah, they might have
From
got
that
laid.
time that they went out. No, I just mean like just going to see the movies. It could have been a nostalgic experience for them, and maybe that's, you know, they were like, man, this is so bad, but they kept watching it and they thought they were laughing at it, making fun of it.
Right.
You know what I
People that
mean?
were there by themselves. Not
Yeah, it could
with
have
a
been just
girlfriend or
one of those
boyfriend.
experiences, you know?
Yeah, this is definitely the make-out film of the two because
Yeah.
it's so fucking hard to pay attention.
What else did you have?
The only other thing that I had about this, and I thought this was really interesting, director Del Taney used a title, Caribbean Adventure, as a working title for the movie because he didn't want the residents of the area where they filmed it to know he was making a horror movie.
And it really isn't a horror
It's
movie.
not a fucking horror movie.
I mean,
Like,
it is and it isn't.
idealistically, it is a horror movie, but
It's not scary
in
at
the
all. Or
no, in the end, it doesn't deliver that. They
if you
try
think
it,
putting
but-
googly eyes on like a bunch of natives or
Weird
whatever.
googly eyes. But this is before costume contacts were a thing, y'all. So they
Yeah.
fucking tried. They did. It was cool. I thought they looked kind of cool.
Well,
but,
the flaky fucking dry
like, mud
skin
shit.
face
yeah,
and
that's
shit.
old school.
That's actually very much like Dr. Butcher MD or
Yeah.
Zombie and
Well,
shit.
They
yeah.
still use techniques like that now.
Right.
So it's. I mean. It's pretty interesting. It looks
Yeah.
cool. Like, I can't hate on that shit too much. They tried an original fucking character, and they did a fucking good job. No one else has done that.
Right.
That's an original fucking character. So, if I have to give a good plus moment, like, there's your plus. Cool character. But did you have any favorite scenes?
I mean, we already mentioned the beheading one. I thought that was interesting.
It
It's
was
not.
so stupid,
It's so
but
quick.
great.
It's just like, oh, it happened.
And pointless, and no one cares.
Uh,
no one cares that the fisherman got his head cut off except the fucking writer for like 5 minutes.
The only thing, I mean, I have a few things that I wrote down here, but I wouldn't say they're really just a lot of the lines in the movie were really bad when he's trying to be the like playboy writer. He's like, "What part of heaven did you fly from?"
Oh God, I was rolling my eyes. So
I know. I
fucking
was
hard.
like, "Oh my God!" I'm thinking to myself, like comparing it to today and how he would be torn apart.
Oh yeah.
Like his whole career would be over just for acting in a role like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
it's
for
just
sure.
interesting. Like it's a dichotomy
yeah.
between the two eras that we're in now. So
Oh, big time.
But one of the things I always thought was really long and unnecessary was the voodoo dance thing.
Oh my God, thank you.
I was like, okay, so they do it twice, like once in the very beginning of the movie, and then once for like 15 minutes in the middle of the fucking movie.
Oh my God, I wanted to kill myself.
I know, and I'm like, I'm not even like into like they really didn't need to do it for that long.
I just stared at their butts the whole time.
Did it
That's it.
seem like a lot of the people in the background were really confused as to what they were doing? And
Yes, they looked like they were having seizures.
yeah, like it seemed like
They're all-
they didn't even seem like natives
fuck?
or
No, it's
like
weird.
voodoo tribe people. They were like, "Hey, Martha, can you just like shake like this and do this?"
It was so stupid.
And then there was like the like white guy, the guy that's like, have you ever seen seen Billy Madison?
Have I ever?
Or
seen
is it Billy?
Madison?
No, Happy Gilmore.
Have I ever seen Happy Gilmore?
So Happy Gilmore, the guy that pays him, and he's like, oh, let's go to Sizzler. You know, that guy, he's like, you are going to miss this putt. There was like one of that guy with the fucking weird hat in the background, like the fucking fishing cap. And I'm like, he does not belong in this fucking voodoo tribe at all.
He
like,
does not belong here.
I'm like, but that's the only thing you can do in this part is stare at like weird shit that's happening in the background.
Is that Rob Schneider's character?
No, it's
it's the one with the
it's
wonky
the old
eye.
guy. You will miss
You
this
will miss
putt.
his
Yeah,
putt.
whatever.
It's the Steve Buscemi, isn't it?
No,
With the
no,
weird
it's
fucking
not.
eye? Dude. Continue with your thought.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. It's just like when you're watching it, there's nothing else you can do but just it goes on for so fucking long, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, kill me already.
I know who you're talking about. Okay, yeah, that guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but he's been
in a lot of stuff. Yeah,
it's that guy in that movie. Yeah, you're right.
Also, another thing that really bothered me about this movie, and you know, I understand it's a movie, and it was very light on like what the fuck was going on. A Playboy writer goes to a jungle called Voodoo Island that happens to have supposedly really hot fucking
Where are they at?
virgins that he never fucking comes across.
Never.
Except for the mad scientist's daughter.
The blonde white girl.
Yeah, the blonde white girl who deals with his fucking misogyny, like, in a jokingly way. It's like,
Yeah, of course she's cool.
but it's just really so weird. Like,
It is weird.
Like, comparing it to today is just, that's what I think in my mind. Like, this shit would never fly.
No. This is where I had an issue, too, was they try and make her come off as a strong female character within the first,
She's really bad actor.
initial 5 minutes that you, like, meet her when he meets her.
Right.
On the piano and stuff, and he's, like, trying to hit on her, and she puts him down, but in, like, kind of, like, a funny, like, sarcastic way. And then next thing you know, like, 10 minutes later, they're fucking, basically. Or she goes to bed with him. And I'm like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
that was a really awkwardly strange transition.
Yeah,
like, they go
yeah.
take a walk holding hands, and it just, like, goes from 0 to 1,000.
Hands down, the lead actor guy is the best actor in the movie.
Big time.
The
Voodoo people, the two lead voodoo people were pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah, they were believable.
The
Physical
one guy
actors.
The one guy with the great butt.
Right.
Who had, like, 3 lines that were all in Spanish that
Yeah.
no one subtitled.
I just kept looking at his legs the whole time. And I'm
Mouse
like,
and I was looking at his legs and his butt the whole time. But
I don't know why, because what do you do in that situation for 15 fucking minutes?
That's all you did. I stared at their butts.
But
that's it. Him and her.
one of the things that really pissed me off, another thing, a little thing, was that is it me, or would you be wandering around the jungle after almost being attacked and killed 2 or 3 times?
No.
Because I wouldn't. I mean, especially if I didn't know where the fuck I was in the middle of the fucking night. Like, you just got attacked. Why are you out there looking for her father?
Just
like,
so stupid.
There's nothing that pushed you to go there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it just
doesn't make any
seems really
sense.
weird.
It's like, what are you doing? You fucking dumbass. That's
And
exactly
you want
what I said.
You want to talk about fucking music that pissed you off? The fucking scene where they're doing the mad scientist part, where they're like taking the fucking they're taking the goddamn snake and then they're grabbing it slow, which was interesting. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna get bit. The actor actually was a snake handler, I guess. Both of them. So they were like acting like scientists or whatever, and then he like puts the teeth in the jar, and I'm watching it, and the whole time it's like ding, 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 ding.
So annoying.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, kill me. Stab me in the fucking face. But I will tell you my favorite scene in this entire movie.
Oh, yeah, I know what it is, and it's mine too.
With the zombie in the box of dynamite.
Yes!
I can't. I
want to make a clip of that, just that
that's
part.
so fucking stupid and makes zero fucking sense because he has a fucking sealed box
of dynamite.
Or
just as it says explosives. Yeah.
He has a sealed,
It's like
fully,
Acme box of explosives.
Yeah, it's super Wile E. Coyote as fuck.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. He has a completely like sealed ass wooden box that says explosive on it. No one lit any fucking goddamn fuse. No one pretended like they lit a fuse and then put a fucking lit piece of dynamite.
Well, the propeller hits it.
Into the they don't even.
It's dynamite.
Didn't lead that much into that.
That's what I thought.
I thought it just exploded because that's what it
No,
looks
no.
like.
He walks right into the propeller.
Oh, that makes more sense. But to me, I was like, that's not even lit.
Yeah, he hits
How'd
the
that
propeller.
explode?
He's holding the zombie, the googly-eyed fucking
So stupid.
fucking pasted on fucking Google eye fucking zombie, walks with his arms holding the fucking explosives right into the propeller, and then the plane blows up. I was laughing.
God, I died. Yeah, I was laughing so fucking hard.
That was
Mouse
funny.
and I were just like, what the fuck was that?
And I was like, oh, is the movie over?
No.
And then it keeps going.
It goes on for another 40
I
goddamn
know.
minutes.
I was like, Jesus Christ, is this really
Yeah.
necessary?
At that point, I don't even think we're at the. We're not. At that point, we're not even at the.
We don't need to
20-minute
finish
dance
the
scene.
movie. We don't need to get
No, that's
into
what I'm
it.
saying though. Where they blow up, the zombie blows up the fucking plane. We're not even to the 20-minute
Oh,
dance
yeah,
segment
no.
yet. And then there's
Is that
another-
what it was right before the dance segment?
Yes, because
Oh.
they kidnapped the
So
girl.
they do like 3 dance segments.
There's
It was 3.
multiple.
Help me.
So, what were your final thoughts?
I don't want to watch it again.
Shoot me now.
I'm glad I watched it, and if I had the choice to be able to own both of them, I would. But just because I'm a weird collector about that kind of stuff, I guess. But I don't know. It was funny. It's funny that we're talking how we're and like now. I'm actually getting more enjoyment of making
Talking
fun
shit
of
about
it,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
than I am when I watched it. Although I was surprised that I was able to sit through the whole goddamn thing last night.
Oh, I was too.
I watched both of them last night and did all the research and everything last night.
Yeah, I watched them back to back too, but not
Yeah.
last night. But
I watched. Did you watch them in that order?
yeah,
Oh, nice. So we watched the real
Right.
double feature.
I did it up the way I'm supposed to.
So no wonder they put it on the second one because
That's the make-out movie.
yeah, because oh, I got you now.
Because
That's
no
the-
one can fucking pay attention to it.
That's where all the
But I was
hand,
trying for work.
the little hand pant jiving.
I would have rather made out with Mouse the whole time, but instead, I'm like, I need
lots
to
of
pay attention.
tongues and mouths. That
It was awful. Or whatever they did in the 60s.
yeah, probably hold
70s.
hands.
Held hands and patted each other on the shoulders.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Kissed each other on the cheek.
rubbed
Went
my
steady.
He rubbed my shoulder.
That's where that's where Steve asked Pam to go steady with him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's see. So let's do the really hard
really
thing
quick,
now.
I want to give my final thoughts on this movie.
Oh yeah, but which one? I'm kidding. We already know which
Yeah,
one we
everybody
like
knows.
more. But go ahead.
So I basically spent an hour and a half watching people voodoo dance.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty decently, actually. That was probably the best part about it. But and no one ate anybody's skin,
Uh-huh.
which was super fucking irritating.
Yeah.
So yeah. And Mouse's thought was, well, that was the most pointless fucking movie I've ever seen. And I just fucking looked at him and said, huh, that's going to be my final thoughts on this movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that from you because that was perfect.
I waited to the end just to see if there was like a stinger. No, I'm kidding. They didn't do that back then.
Something like mid-credit or
Right,
whatever.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, like-
please help me.
I thought they were gonna have the zombies dancing or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
like doing the
I
beach,
don't know.
the googly eye beach zombie bingo.
You're going to call a movie I Eat Your Skin. Someone better eat somebody's fucking skin and nobody does.
I don't know, but yeah, but again, it was Caribbean Adventure,
Stupid.
aka
That's a better title.
probably for the tone of the film.
That's
yeah.
a better title. Makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Caribbean or
I mean, I'm glad I watched it so I can be like,
Caribbean Clayface.
I can put another
don't know.
notch on my horror belt. You know,
I'm glad
like
I
eh.
watched it so I know to never watch it again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys seen it? What did you think of it? I don't even care to go into why I Drink Your Blood is so much better.
Well, clearly our favorite was I Eat Your Skin. It's
Yeah.
obvious.
You're right.
Like this is that was our pick.
I Drink Your Blood is actually like compared to this, it's like a 9.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I Drink Your Blood's a 9 compared to this, or maybe an 8. But like generally for me, I would probably give like I Drink Your Blood like a 7, just because for me I enjoyed it. You probably give it like a 4.
No,
Really?
I'm gonna be more generous about it.
Yeah, better than average.
I'm gonna give it like 5.5 or 6.
Okay, it's one of those movies, man, that I just like to pop on. Like I get in these moods where I'm like, I want to watch some old shit. You know, like, I just want to see some shit. You know,
Next time, just put on Nosferatu and be over with it.
from 1922.
Yes.
Yeah. German Expressionism. What did you guys think? Please let us know. Obviously, we know our winner, but what would your winner be? Do you love this film? I would love to hear why you like it, and I'm not doing it like to be an asshole. Like I genuinely want to know what you like about it, and I'm open to it because I just didn't have the same experience. But this was our first time watching it. I'd never seen it, so
What would you give I Eat Your Skin?
yeah. And
For
do you like it
rating?
better than?
No, you. I'm asking.
Oh, what would I? like I said,
What would you give I Eat Your Skin?
I
for
don't
a rating?
know, like a 2.
Could I give a negative score?
I don't think it's that bad.
I'm gonna give it a negative.
I wouldn't give it a lower than a 1 ever. I would never give a movie lower than a 1 unless there was a black screen and I couldn't watch it.
For the zombie explosion moment, I'm giving it a 1.5.
It was at least a cohesive story. It wasn't a good one.
Yeah, but
I'm
it was
not going to
cohesive.
watch it again.
Fuck no.
But I would give it like a 2, you know?
Yeah, 1.5.
Really?
1.5. Thank you, zombie exploding into a plane.
Yeah,
great.
that was... I'm going to make a GIF out of that.
Please do. It's great. So good.
But guys, thank you so much for coming by this week. If you haven't already and you haven't listened to the Monday's episode, go ahead and check that out. We made a story up about the Rickety Man, which was pretty interesting. Now that I think of it, kind of reminds us of like another movie that I was talking about before we made this story, but it is a little different. It is pretty interesting. It was a more serious movie, so you should check it out. And if you haven't already, check out longlivethevoid.com. And by the way, we'll probably be doing a giveaway here soon. So thanks, guys, so much for coming by. We'll see you back on Monday.
Stay weird, monsters.